falutin rules guy named Lou Blakey. And I said, Lou, I had a strange one today. I had this farmer's wall, and the stone came down. I didn't get in halfway into the story. And he says, well, of course, Duffy, you realize stacking counts as manufacturing. Oops. I got that one wrong. Yes, sir.
A two-part question with respect to the bunkers. One was called on me and one was on somebody else.
We're not at bunkers yet. That comes later.
No, it had to do with stone.
Oh, stones. Yes, sir. What kind of stone? Now, there's two kinds. Manufactured or loose impediments. Which one?
I'm walking into a bunker. I'm on one side of the bunker. My ball is. As I'm walking in, I see a stone 20 feet away from my ball.
Yes, sir.
I pick it up and throw it out of the bunker.
Match play, loss of hole, stroke play, add 2.
And the question is, why?
Well, we're not in why. Ho, 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 ho. We start doing whys in this seminar, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be here for a week from next Tuesday. No whys. No whys. No whys. I'll talk to you later. Yes, sir.
I'm still hung up on your very first story. When you purposefully smacked it away when it was only 4 inches and you declared it unplayable, you're allowed to bring it all the way back.
When we get to the unplayable lie rule, we will find out there are 3 options.
Thank you.
One of them is to replay the shot. It's one of my options. Okay. Now, real quick, well, if it's loose, yes.
Hear the question.
Please repeat the question.
Yeah, the question was again, if there's a piece of pipe in a hazard, if it's loose, can I move it? We already covered that. You can move manufactured items, which are movable obstructions, anywhere on the golf course. As long as there's a manufacturing component. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what happens when you hit the ball and then the ball goes on the seat of the cart, golf cart?
The seat of a golf cart. Well, a lot of things can happen, but mainly that's a movable obstruction. That, in stroke play, that is a move. Everything's the same. See, what everybody's getting hung up with is they're not listening to. It's a movable obstruction. It's a golf cart. Pick the ball up, move the golf cart, drop the ball. Yeah. Now, in match play, it's a little bit different if the golf cart is equipment, but we're going to cover that. Yes. We're going to cover that because it could be equipment, and then that's a little different situation. All right. Here's one. We're getting back to obstructions. We covered movable obstructions. I had a little trouble with them. Usually don't have that much trouble with the easy one. But now we're going to get to what is usually the hard one, and that is the immovable obstruction. And here's a cart path. And one thing I want to say about getting relief from these obstructions is I got confused early on between the 1 club length deal and the 2 club length deal. You know, some rules has 1 club length in it, and other rules have 2 club lengths. So I finally figured it out. If it's a free drop where no penalties involved, like a cart path, casual water, a ground under repair, it's 1 club length. Wrong putting green. Anytime it's free, it's 1 club length in the rule. Anytime there's a penalty involved, a hazard drop, unplayable lie, anytime there's a penalty involved, it's 2 club lengths in the rule. And then they trick you up. They have the other kind, which is closest point. You don't get 1 club length, you don't get 2 club lengths, it's closest point. And the 2 principal ones there are, if you have to replay a shot, you know, you hit one out of bounds and you have to go back, or if you elect to go back and replay the shot, you must drop the ball as close as possible, not 1 or not 2. Embedded ball, that's another one. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Test question was, are you allowed to use somebody else's club in measuring 1 club length relief from an embedded ball? Those tests we take, they trick us up, you know? I said, sure. You see, in measuring, you can use anybody's club. Yeah, but it's not 1 club length from an embedded ball. They got me on that one. You see, embedded ball, it's closest point. Anyway, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2. Sometimes it's closest point. Before I do this, I'm going to get relief from a car path here, but before I do this, I got a quick little question. it's about penalties. We don't talk, players don't know about penalties a lot, and they sometimes don't know. Well, let's say my ball's in a hazard, and I've got I can play it, and I got a popsicle stick under my ball, and I move that stick, and the ball moves. I got two things going on here. Do I get a double penalty or just one? Two? One? You know, there's a good lesson here. You see, in order to figure out what you're doing out there, you've got to remember everything in golf has a name. And you got to name it. You got to put a golf name on it before you know how to proceed. That's not a cart path. That's an immovable obstruction. That piece of pipe, that wasn't a piece of pipe. It was a movable obstruction. The golf cart was either a movable obstruction or equipment of another player. It could be either or. Everything has a golf name. You see, and when I'm in that hazard and I got that popsicle stick under my ball and I move it, what have I moved? A popsicle stick isn't a popsicle stick. It's a movable obstruction. What happens when I move a movable obstruction and the ball moves? Put it back. Any penalty? No. We were going to give this guy a one-shot penalty, a two-shot penalty. Now we find out there's no penalty. Only because we took a few extra seconds to put a name on what it was we were dealing with.
Even in a hazard.
Even in a hazard. Wow. All right, I don't know how good, I think you all can see. You can't see the center of the cart path. So there's the center. Let's say I got a ball here, and let's say, you know when they say one club length relief? Is this what I do? Do I take my club and butt it up against the side of the cart path like that and drop a ball? We see that all the time. Players put the butt of the club, I said, what are you doing? Well, one club, I got one club length. No, that's not what you get. You first have to take your stance right here. Now, what club do I take? Well, my long one? Here's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. You must use the club you would ordinarily hit from this area. So let's say people don't know that. People don't know that. So I got this junior, he's 60 yards from the green. He's got fairway over there. Man, he's sitting there with his driver out. Say, oh, no. You must take the club you would ordinarily hit from this area, take your feet away from the cart path, take the club, and what we're doing is we're finding the nearest point of relief. The point is measured from here, not where my feet are. The club I would ordinarily hit, hold on, I put it down like that, and I put a T in the ground right there. Right there. Now here's what the rule says. If I'm taking relief from an obstruction, the rule says drop a ball within one club length of the nearest point of relief. Simple. Maybe not so simple. And by the way, I'm not going to say closer to the hole, no closer to the hole anymore. That's the only time I'm going to say it because everybody knows it. You can't drop a ball close to the hole, okay? Done with that. Well, I'm going to drop a ball within one club length of that point. Can I use any club now? Yes. Anytime you're measuring, you can use any club you want. Only when you're finding the point, that's when you can't use any club. You must use the club you would ordinarily hit from this area. I'm 70 yards, I've got a pitching wedge. Okay? Now, here's one you all know. Let's say I drop a ball and it rolls back to the cart path. What do? Redrop it. I get over here, I drop it again, and it rolls back to the cart path. What do I do now? Place it where why is it everybody knows that rule? Everybody. Place it on the second drop. But you know what they don't know? They don't know that some drops don't count as a drop. What happens if I'm not paying attention and I get it in front of so I'm closer to the hole. What happens if I hit the club that I had laying on the ground to do my measuring and I didn't pick it up? No penalty, but it doesn't count as a drop. If it hits my foot, hits my player's bag, hits my player's ball, hits any of these things, it doesn't count as a drop. Why is that important? It doesn't count as one of the two. Now watch this. I drop a ball towards the end here, and it rolls. There it is. I drop it, I get it in there, and it rolls over to here. Oh, well, why don't we get over here? What do I do now? Sorry? Well, I know. No, you're doing good. We'll come back to that. I'm all the way over there. What do you think I got to do, ladies and gentlemen? They're over by the window. This lady here gets a star. Give her a star. You see, once the ball lands within, by the way, you know the pie, this club goes around like that. You've seen it, pictures of it. That area here, one club length from that tee, that's called the prescribed area. The ball must land within the prescribed area. Once it lands in the prescribed area, it can roll. How far can it roll? Up to 2 club lengths. Now I'm going to test you. 2 club lengths from here. You see, it can roll up to 2 club lengths. Hold on. 2 club lengths from where? 2 club lengths from where it landed. So wherever it landed, it can roll up to 2 more, and it's still in play. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Are you supposed to put a tee at the end of the club length where you're measuring?
Technically, you don't have to put any marks down, is the proper answer. It's recommended that you do it so you know you're proceeding properly.
Right.
But technically, there's no requirement to do so.
I thought it was.
Yes, ma'am.
The other question, when you mentioned that if you were going to approach with like a sand wedge, if you say, for example, didn't put a sand wedge down and you used a driver, is that a penalty, using a different club?
You're supposed to use the club you would ordinarily hit in that area. If you don't, well, it's not a penalty if you get it, if you drop it within the sand wedge. But if you drop it outside the sand wedge, you have not got it in the proper prescribed area. Tricky question you had there, but I hope I answered it. I mean, I know I answered it correctly. I don't know if... Okay. Now, let's say I do this. Let's say I drop a ball in the prescribed area. It doesn't roll closer to the hole. It doesn't hit my foot. It doesn't roll back to the cart path. It doesn't roll more than 2. It didn't hit anybody's equipment. I'm good to go. I'm good to go, right? I can hit it. Yes. Now, those of you, and I think everybody said yes, no, but I didn't hear any no's. You see, everybody that said, yeah, you're good to go, in match play, you lost the hole, and in stroke play, you got a 2-shot penalty for playing from a wrong place. You see? You see, you all said I did a good job over here. I dropped my ball. It landed within the prescribed area. It didn't roll more than 2. It didn't roll closer to the hole. It didn't hit the club. Everything was fine, except I dropped in the wrong place. Because the rule says what? When I want relief from an obstruction, I drop a ball within 1 club length of the nearest point of relief. Where's the nearest point of relief on this side of the cart path? It's right here, isn't it? I'm right-handed, I'm playing that way. Ladies and gentlemen, which tee is closer to the ball? That tee or that tee? You see, our buddy George, he thinks there's a misprint in the book. George thinks it's the nicest point of relief. It's the nearest point of relief. And when we come to a player and they say, we want relief from the cart path, we say, are you left-handed or right-handed? What the heck does that mean? Well, as you can see, the whole geometry changes. The drop is on this side of the cart path. Not there, because that is the nearest point of relief, not that.
So then you take 1 club length.
I take 1 club length from there. Now, what do you see this deal? Look what I got now. I got a big old tree, you see? Oh, I fooled you there. That was a fake out. You see, the rule doesn't talk about center line. It says drop a ball within 1 club length of the nearest point of relief. It doesn't say center line. So this is a fake out. Ha, ha, ha. I got you all, didn't I? But now look at this. Where's George, by the way? Right? Where should he be? Drop a ball within 1 club. Well, let's say there's bushes, trees. Let's say there's a big oak. There's no place I can drop over there. Well, Mr. Duffy, I can't get a swing over there. Well, then I suggest you play it off the cart path. You don't get relief from trees, do we? No. You don't get relief. So there Roger, we were talking earlier about the player who does it all wrong, and he says, well, I just assume, I guess I got to play off the cart path as he's holding his ball. See, he's moved his ball in play. Put it back, add 1. You see? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Add 1. Sure you can. Yep. Unplayable lie, we're gonna cover, but there's 3 options under the unplayable lie rule. I'll cover them now quickly. Replay the shot, so I can go back to wherever I hit it from. 2, drop a ball within 2 club lengths of where the ball lies. Or 3, drop a ball behind as far as I want, keeping the point where the ball lies in line with the flag. But we'll cover that with unplayable lie rule. But yeah, you can take an unplayable lie. Yes, sir.
What if that was a hazard on the other side of it, where your tree was? That was the
Yeah, you can't. I skip a lot of these seminars. In dropping procedures, you don't drop on a putting green or in a hazard.
So you get to go this side?
Yes, sir.
So when
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
holding the ball,
Holding the ball.
is that a 2-stroke penalty?
If you move your ball in play when you're not permitted to do so, it's a 1-shot penalty in either match play or stroke play. And here's the thing to remember. I should say it 5 times every seminar. If you cause your ball to move, put it back and add 1. If you don't cause your ball to move, play it as it lies.
Does it matter by how much? So
No.
If you're on the putting green and you touch it ever so slightly and
Okay.
just
Definition time. The book has, in fact, I'll give you a sermon. If you're not going to study the rules and you're not going to become a rules person, the only thing you have to do is 2 things. Read the definitions. There's only like 3-4 pages of them. And read the table of contents. If you know those 2 things, you're 50% there. You see, the table of contents, every rule has got a name. Golf ball, there's a rule for that. Teeing ground, there's a rule for that. Order of play, there's a rule for that. Hazards, there's a rule for that. Ground under repair, there's a rule for that. So if you know the table of contents, you just go to the rule. It's real simple. Definitions, you know what every little thing is and how it's defined. And it's kind of neat because you are getting at the definition of a ball moving. Well, a ball can move, but in golf terms, it doesn't move until it changes its position. So this moving, and it goes back, it can move and come back. Ball didn't move in golf terms.
Well, listen, when you said on match play, when you had a loss of hole instead of?
In moving ball, see, a lot of times it's lost a hole, but if you can cause your ball to move, match play or stroke play, add 1, put it back.
If the wind moves it and you haven't caused it to move, you just play it where it lies.
She said if the wind moves it, here's the deal. If you cause your ball to move, put it back and add 1. If you didn't cause your ball to move, that sounds like your example, play it as it lies. Play it as it lies. Well, a quick story. I have it for later, but I'll do it now. We have a par 3 at our course back in Maryland, number 9, Jewel. and there's a big hill. The whole location's in the front bottom of the hill, and it goes straight uphill to the back of the green. Player hits it right over the flag. It's going to hit. It's going down the hill. It's going to come down the hill. Stops right at the crest of the hill. Doesn't come down. The player goes up, marks his ball. He cleans it. He puts it down. Now, he leaves his mark there because he's one of these prima donna line guys, I got to line the thing up. So you're allowed to move your ball as long as it's marked. So he leaves his mark there, and he's doing... And then he goes back, and he's plumb bobbing it, it's sitting there. And then the beer cart comes up. They all go over and get a beer, and they come over and they get a beer. And they come back, and the fellow says, who picked up my ball? Where's my ball? Rolled down the hill and was in the hole. Well, you know what his buddy said. Oh, there's your mark. Put it back. Did he cause the ball to move? What did I say? If you don't cause your ball to move, what do you do? Play it out where it lies. Where is it? Hole in one. The ball was in his hand. Sure. What does that have to do with anything? I don't care whether the mark is there. The answer is the same. Did he cause the ball to move? No. Plays it where it lies. Thank God for America. We're on the putting green. Ball's on the hill.
Put your mark down.
Put the mark down.
Clean the ball.
Clean the ball.
Put the ball back.
Put the ball back.
Pick up your mark.
Right.
Address the ball.
No, he didn't pick up the ball.
Hold it. He's addressed the ball.
But he hasn't touched the ball.
He hasn't touched it.
Ball starts to roll.
Right.
Penalty.
No.
Well, this is where we don't know yet. We don't know yet. There's a little exception to the rule when the club is so close and you're addressing the ball. If you address the ball and then the ball moves, you are deemed to have caused it to move because there's no way to tell. But the clock starts when you address it. And address means grounding your club behind the ball. So as soon as you do that, no, hold on now. You girls are ahead of me. You're a smarty pants, you are. If you ground your club and the ball moves after that, you are deemed to have caused it to move. That rule didn't change. Everybody thinks it changed, but it didn't change. Here's the only change. That rule's in effect unless you know something else caused it to move. Now, if I ground my club, and it's a sunny day with no wind or nothing, and that ball moves, I'm deemed to have caused it to move. I have to put the ball back and add one. If that ball if the wind is blowing 40 miles an hour, my pants are flowing, and that ball moved because of the wind, and everybody agrees it's because of the wind, play it as it lies. No penalty. Even if you addressed it. Tricky question, but...
Just happened to Dustin Johnson.
Did it? Did it happen to Dustin Johnson? Could be. Hey, this is cool, huh? We're going to do water hazards. Now, I played here, last couple days I've played here, and I'm not going to change my presentation because a lot of you belong to other clubs. I didn't see any yellow hazards. I mean, do you have any? I don't know. Well, we're going to cover them because a lot of courses have both yellow and red, and we're going to go over both. For our purposes, a water hazard is a hazard that you play, is in front of you as you play the hole. Most water hazards that are in front of you as you play the hole are called water hazards. They are marked in yellow. Now, this is a yellow hazard marked with orange magic marker. And this is a little stream in front of the green. Now we have a player who goes like that. So they start here at A, They cross here at B, and they wind up at C. How many options do we think this player has? I'm going to start. The first option that a lot of people forget is play it. If it's playable, you can go in there and play it, no penalty. So I'm going to write that down. Play it. What's the second option? I'll give you a hint. You can do it anywhere on the golf course at any time. Replay. Replay. You can always replay the shot. Replay. And when we do the replay option, do we get 1 club length or 2 club lengths involved in that rule? Nearest point. Tiger Woods got that wrong at the Masters on 15. He didn't drop at the closest point to where he played his previous shot. He dropped 2 club lengths behind that. Remember that one. Anyway, when you replay, you must drop the closest point, which would be back at A. Now, here's another one. Before we go any further, when I first started learning this, I never knew whether the 2 club length option went this way or that way or both. It could go either way, couldn't it? A lot of people say that. They would be wrong. They would be wrong. There's only one more option this player has. Yeah. You're going to get a lot of stars here tonight, and you too. The ladies are always better than the guys, always. The only other option this player has is to drop a ball on a line between where they crossed here and the flag.